Okay, so let's take a look at a few more problems. These problems are going to involve base E. So we want to solve for x. So first thing we want to do here is we want to isolate this e to the 1 minus 3x power. So to isolate this, we're going to go ahead and cancel out the 7. I'm going to cancel out the 15. And this is where the fun starts. So what we want to do here is to cancel out the e, we want to take the natural log on both sides because the base is e. So taking the natural log of the left, we take the natural log of the right. And just like log properties, this exponent can now be brought down front. And one of the properties you should be aware of is that the natural log of e is equal to 1. Because e, this is the base of a natural log is e. E to the first power is equal to e. So when you see the natural log of e, you know that that is 1. And now we're just going to solve for x. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 1 on both sides. And then we're going to divide by -3 on both sides. And then we'll have our answer. So plugging this into our calculator, calculate, natural log button is right down here. You have to press Control, e to the x. Let's see if we can get this to show up. There we go. Of 1/5. And it keeps getting blurry here for some reason. -1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press enter here and then divide that answer by -3. So x is going to be approximately 0.86983. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, so simple way to deal with this problem here is, again, we're solving for t, so we need to move that out of the exponent, so we're going to take the natural log on both sides. And I'm going to move this exponent out front. Okay, by taking the natural log on both sides, it brings the exponent out front. That makes 1. So we have t squared minus t equals, and the natural log of 100 is approximately, let's see what it is. Natural log of 100. There we go. Sorry, it keeps. There we go. Natural log of 100. 4.60517. So we have a quadratic here. So to solve this quadratic, we have to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move that 4.60517 to the other side. Alright, so I really doubt that this is factorable, so to solve this quadratic, we're going to use the quadratic formula. In this case, a is 1, b is -1, and c is -4.60517. Okay, so plugging it into the quadratic formula, x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Okay, so let's plug this into our calculator. We can get this to show up anyway. It would be nice if it would stay in focus, but I think little by little it leaves focus here. So we have 1 plus, we'll do the plus first, square root of -1 squared, which is 1, and this is going to be a negative times a negative, so that's going to be plus 4 times 1, which is 4, times 4.60517. Remember, I took this negative and made it plus. Okay? And enter. And we're going to divide that by 2 times 1, which is 2. And so we get 2.70345. Now that, remember, that's when you do the addition. To get the other answer, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go up and highlight this equation. Press enter. And go in here and change the plus to a minus. Oh, sorry, it keeps going out of focus. Enter, and then divide that by 2. And we get negative 1.70345. And there are your 2 answers. Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Okay, so first thing you need to notice here is that this is set equal to 0, and we have an x in both of these terms. Okay, so we want to factor out the x. So x goes into x 1 time, minus x goes into x 1 time. So I factored out an x out of both of these terms. Okay, so next step is to set each factor equal to 0. So this first factor, set it equal to 0, and we already have that answer for that factor. Then we set the other factor equal to 0 and solve for x. Dyslexia showing up here, that's 5x. Okay, all right, Now that we have it down to just a base and an exponent, do you remember what we do now? It's base e, so we're going to natural log both sides. Move that exponent down front. It's a group, so I'm going to put grouping symbols on it. Natural log on the other side. So natural log of e is 1. And the natural log of 1, off the top of my head, I don't have a clue, is... Well, I did know that answer. Natural log of 1 is 1. I'm sorry, 0. 0. Because the base of a natural log is e. So e to what power is 1? Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. So natural log of 1 is 0. So we're going to get an answer of negative 12 fifths. It's minus 2. Sorry about that. Minus 2 fifths. I don't know where I got the 12 from. No clue. Because it's plus 2. Negative 2 fifths. Okay. Next problem. So as I'm writing this down, I'm showing you lots of examples because these equations come in all shapes and forms. So you need to be familiar with different forms, problems, different structures. Okay? So if you look at this one, what you have to notice is that x squared minus 4 and x squared minus 4, it's in both of these terms. Okay? So what you want to do here is you want to set this equation equal to 0. This might blow your minds, but if I want to cancel this out over here, I'd subtract it. The whole term. Because this is one whole term here. It's this times this. Okay? So subtracting it here, we've got to subtract it on the other side. And now we have 0 left on the right. Well, now why did I do that? Well, since I noticed that they had this in common. So when you have something in common, that means that you can factor it out. So I'm going to factor out an x squared minus 4 out. So when I factor it out of this term, I get 5. When I factor it out of this term, I get e to the 7 minus x. You see how that kind of made that into an easier problem than this? So, since it's equal to 0, like with a quadratic, you can set each factor equal to 0 and solve each problem for x. So, this is the difference of two squares. Hopefully you noticed that. So we got x equals negative 2, x equals positive 2. Solving this one, subtract the 5 over here. That gives us negative 5 over there. Dividing by negative 1. Dividing by negative 1 gives us positive 5. So we have 7 minus x with base e equals 5. So, again, we're solving for x, natural log on both sides. I'm running out of time. So, we would just finish and solve for x using our calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and post the problems for you to solve. Copy them down, do them, and turn them in when you're finished. Okay, by the way, watch out for solutions where it's extraneous. Remember, you cannot have negative arguments.